So, good evening, all. We are delighted to present today our project, Recharge, Revitalize, Reconnect, or as we like to call it, RRR. When introduced to the project, the one aspect of the site that we connected instantaneously was the lake nearby. We saw the site as a space not just for the residents of Kasturi Nagar, but for the whole of the city. The site can be seen as prominent green space in the Bangalore's otherwise densely built up locality. Almost instantly, you know that we had to strengthen this connection of the site to the lake and enhance this green space to accommodate the needs of local residents, preserve the natural scape. The disconnect of Beningahali Lake from the traditional canal system of Bangalore lakes was observed to contribute to many inconveniences during the rains as a result of flooding. This paved the way for the site to be utilized as a zone for effective stormwater management in the area, catering to the challenges such as flooding of the Kasturi Nagar underpass. Another problem that we came across from the community engagement was poor access to the main roads. Due to the absence of safe and walkable infrastructure to the new metro station at Old Madras Road, pedestrian access is limited, which increases the vehicular use and worsens the traffic, especially during the peak hours. We wanted to enhance this connection to the Old Madras Road by improving and creating a safe pedestrian access to the Old Madras Road and upcoming metro station. This would help to promote walking, cycling, and improving overall health of the citizen in the neighborhood. So for the development of our project, we focused on three main aspects of the local's vision. One is proper waste and drainage management, which will help in creating safe and hygienic community space for the local residents. The second aspect was creating varied experience for all age groups and gender by providing spaces for play, recreation, and rejuvenation. The key idea here is to create a space that is safe and accessible to all. The third aspect is to re-establish the connection to the lake, which is disrupted due to the infrastructure around built to serve only the motorized vehicles. So these issues bring forward and highlight the potential of the site for creating a variety of green spaces where users can engage with the site through multiple placemaking and community building activities. Based on our understanding of this site, we came up with the concept of Recharge, Revitalize, Reconnect for this site. The first part of the site is envisioned as an urban park where the residents of Kasturi Nagar can recharge after a very long day. The second space under the Beningahali flyover is revitalized to become an active space, not just for the residents of Kasturi Nagar, but the entire city. And finally, reconnecting the people of the area back to the lake is an integral part of the design because we found that people of the area had a deep nostalgic connection to the lake. Now coming back to the spatial planning of the site, our design aims to connect and integrate the different parts of the site into large urban park using an integrated network of trails, paths, and boardwalks that connect to different types of activities nodes within the park. We use water as a running theme that is celebrated throughout the park using water features such as retention ponds, grassways filled with water running along the trails in the recharge zone. The acrylic art installation on the flooring that symbolizes and reflects the water in revitalized zone under the flyover, along with a shallow water body that continues the narrative of water under the flyover. In the Reconnect zone, we have visualized the space as a wetland with a number of bio-infiltration ponds and bioswales that connect to each other, as well as the act as a miniature of the traditional lake systems of Bangalore. So moving forward, these sites serve as a stormwater management system of surrounding areas by incorporating blue-green infrastructure such as rain gardens, running parallel rain gardens, bioswales running parallel to the roads, which are opening into the retention pond, from where surface runoff is then carried to bio-infiltration ponds, to bioswales, and finally draining into the lake. Moreover, by keeping the total hull built-up area to the minimum, the site acts as a sponge for the stormwater. This would also help to effectively manage the stormwater runoff and reduce the occurrence of flash floods, which disrupt the day-to-day activities in the area. The network of integrated pedestrian trails is an important part of site design and planning. The green ecological connection here refers to the series of trails and paths that are connecting to different green spaces present across the site. The connection to the lake consists of a series of boardwalks, ground trails, underpasses, and overbridges to provide access across the railway track. To provide the connection to the old Madras Road, we have established a pedestrian walkway incorporating the existing Kasturi Nagar underpass and the existing walking trail along the southern part of the Baningahalli Lake. In order to ensure safe accessibility throughout the site, improving the existing streetscape by providing better street infrastructure like street light, walkway, ramp, etc. is also an important aspect of our design and plan.
So we have divided the site into multiple activity zones based on the requirements that came forward as part of our community engagement and mapping exercises, with keeping in mind the location and the footfall that the activities will generate. The Kasturi Nagar Park, that is towards the west of the site, is planned as a community-centric park where majority of programs cater to the residents of Kasturi Nagar, as the park is near to the
You're not audible. Your voice is breaking.
Hello, Aditi. Just a minute.
Sure.
The area of the flyover is planned as a dynamic space that transitions seamlessly from.
Sorry, but your voice was not coming through. It's breaking.
Yeah, just a minute. We are resolving the issue. Sorry.
Hello, is my audio better now?
Yes, it's better now.
All right, so I'll just continue.
We lost
so we
whatever you were saying for 30 seconds. Sorry, we didn't hear.
All right, I'll just.
You can go through again the.
Yeah. So we have divided the site into multiple activity zones based on the requirements that came forward as a part of the community engagement and mapping exercises, with keeping in mind the location and footfall that the activities will generate. The Kasturi Nagar Park, that is towards the west of the site, is planned as a community-centric park where the majority of programs cater to the residents of Kasturi Nagar, as the park is near the neighborhood. The area under the flyover is planned as a dynamic space that transitions seamlessly from day to night with changing activities. The part next to the lake is planned as a minimal intervention and ecologically sensitive park where people can engage with the local plants and different species of birds and animals that nest in and around the lake. The recharge zone is primarily developed as a community-centric zone where large open spaces are provided to allow flexibility of use based on the community needs for different types of community gatherings and programs. Within this area, we have also incorporated jogging tracks, open-air gyms, and playgrounds for children to promote physical fitness and health in citizens of all ages. Relaxation gardens provide space for leisure and can also be used by the senior citizens to reconnect with nature while relaxing. Within this zone, we have also allocated a zone for community farming, which can contribute to strengthening community bonds and can also help in effective waste management by promoting organic composting techniques. This would also encourage the use of organic and homegrown produce that will enhance the health and the quality of life of the citizens. We are envisioning the recharge zone as an oasis for the Kasturi Nagar residents, a place where community grows and interacts. One of the most important features of this space is the waste management aspect, promoting the circularity of food production, waste generation, and waste management in terms of infrastructure and construction materials. We want to keep the space as natural and low maintenance as possible by promoting the use of local materials and practice reuse and recycling wherever possible. The covered and the shaded area under the Canali flyover allows for the space to host a myriad of activities that were missing in this previously derelict urban infrastructure. Here we have used the principles of placemaking to activate the site to create an urban space that supports local produce by providing spaces for weekly flea markets and farmer markets while allowing the flexibility for multiple uses such as vending, educational fairs, exhibitions, and small events. This area also facilitates sports activities like skateboarding and wall climbing that are not commonly present in the Indian context. One of the key features that came out of this community mapping exercise was poor to no light infrastructure under the flyover area and the streets, making the space feel unsafe and inaccessible at night. The most prominent feature of the proposed space is the dynamic quality of the urban landscape that transitions seamlessly from day to night, where the light installations light up after the dark, making the site safe and accessible, keeping it active throughout the night. We are imagining the area under the flyover to be well lit, not just with the activities such as vending and temporal markets, but also a series of light-based art installations that could further add to the character of the space and can also give it a unique identity. The site is designed to enhance the biodiversity by providing a habitat for local birds and animals, by incorporating native plants, trees, and shrubs to create ecological corridors and support local wildlife. The most important part of the design is the connection to the lake, where the residents are able to access the lake as in the older times. Ecologically sensitive and natural design features on this part of the site help with the stormwater management while also encouraging the people to engage with the local flora and fauna. The use of rain gardens, biospheres, and retention pond as prominent design features of the site also double as educational opportunity for the visitors. We are imagining the Reconnect zone as a series of boardwalks meandering through the different landscapes within the site, providing visitors the opportunity to connect, engage, and educate themselves about the lake ecosystem and how important it is to the city of Bangalore. Viewing decks and watchtowers can be incorporated in this part of the site where people have the opportunity to pause, reflect, and interact with nature. To conclude, through this design intervention, we want to enhance the existing natural and built environment while addressing the ecological and social challenges that the site brings forward. Through our design and planning strategies, we hope to promote sustainability and increased community engagement that not only helps to liven up this area, but also further helps in the long-term maintenance of the quality of the space. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We can open it up for questions now. Aniruddha,
I have sent one question.
Yes, Aniruddha has a question. There is a windway tunneling effect because this site is on the east-west open conduit from lake towards road leading to Banaswadi. What will be the impact on the waterline trails?
You're talking about, sorry, Kelly, you continue.
Yeah. So, so the effect of I'm just I'm trying to understand the question that how the wind is affecting the water. That's what they are trying to say.
Wait a minute. So basically, just I wanted to know your thoughts. Have you thought about it that there is a major wind conduit that is happening here because it's east-west, and how it will overall impact your trail farming and all these activities? You know, have you considered the wind as a factor to think about when designing this? And how you
actually, sorry, yeah. So actually, when we were thinking of the water management, we were thinking of just the surface runoff, not particularly the wind, which will change the movement, because most of the biospheres and green swells are like thin strip, and and the main inlet is from the Raj columns and the drainages which are running parallel to the road. So more or less, the wind is not going to affect the surface runoff. Basically, that was what we thought. But yeah, we can also enhance and use this as an opportunity for further development.
Yeah. So
just to add to, I'm sorry. Continue.
Yeah. Continue, please. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, just to add to Kelly's point, I think it is a great question, and we had not actually taken it into consideration. And moving forward, I think it can be an important aspect to keep in mind while designing.
So good. So do that when you will be doing another design or even in this project. But wind has a tremendous effect here also because of the setup of this place. So it is basically on one side there is a neighborhood, I mean residential zone, and wind basically when you are keeping open land as an open thing, especially when it is a there are land for farming and all. So it will create a lot of dust when there is no crop there or there will be dry periods. So when there is an open ground, there is a liability that there will be more of a dust which is flying in the overall area. Also, when it is a kind of a little already there is a green cover because it is on the fringe of a lake. Already there are a lot of big trees and all. So wind also carries a lot of leaf litter and it spreads it across the area. So if there are water line trails, the leaves will settle on it, into it. So there will be a maintenance activity which will be higher for the maintenance of the water line. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, yes.
Thank you. I request other jurors to share their questions and comments, please.
Can I just mention it? It's pretty, I mean, it's rather easier to ask than type.
Please do.
Yeah. Could you please go back to your initial diagram on the water movement, the first map?
Yes, sure.
Is this indicating the slope of the ground and the way water moves, or what is this indicating? Is what I wanted to understand. The blue arrow.
So yeah, this is what we are trying to basically play with the water. As the Raj color is going straight, we are trying to bring in the water from the Raj color. Can you see my cursor?
No, yeah, I do understand.
Yeah, so
Sorry.
that is the so we are taking it in three zones. Like first, primary will be primary in the recharge zone. Then it is taken to the more of a natural zone where it is being retained, because most of the time what the surface runoff it accumulates, and that is then gone into the, because the underpass is towards the south, the water is then clogged over there. So we're trying to delay the water over here by using this vacant land and putting the bioinfiltration pond. So that is the main idea to avoid the clogging.
Just hear me out. If you see the arrow mark towards the left, right, where you say written as grass swale to the left side. So essentially, if I'm assuming my slope to be from east to west, because you have the lake on the other side, right? So essentially my movement would be downwards, which is going from east to west, right? But if you see the arrow mark, which indicates glass well, is actually going against the slope direction. You're getting my point?
Yeah.
So,
just to
let me finish my question. One is, first to understand why you have created this kind of a pattern is, I mean, I was presuming that firstly based on the movement of the sloping lines, of the contours, but that also is equally reflect on your pedestrian movement, which you are talking about, right? So the two questions I had was, one, on what logic did you determine this whole movement pattern of water? Because some arrows are going against the water direction. Second is, if you have determined that in the pedestrian layer in the next one, nowhere in the whole presentation you actually did address about the movement of vehicles which are also cutting across this, right? For me, this is you've shown it as a project which is within one confined project area, which doesn't have any other external influences like traffic movement and so on and so forth. So if you can just address these two, one with respect to movement of pedestrian versus vehicle, secondly these arrow marks of water movement.
So to answer the first question with respect to the movement of water, towards the right side, that where we have our the ecological park, where the wetlands are, So there we know that the water is actually sloping from the west to the east. And within our triangular part, that is the Kasturi Nagar part, there we saw no visible level differences that could dictate where the water actually, slopes towards. So we were thinking that along our pedestrian trails, maybe we can give provision, like slope down towards the pedestrian trails, where the water can be channeled towards the pedestrian trails. And then anyways, we have these pedestrian trails cutting across the site to, again, the wetlands, and that connects to the lake. So this will provide a artificial channel, not a natural slope, but something that we have created just to channel the water across the site into the lake. So that was the reason for keeping it along the pedestrian trail. Second, about the vehicular movement that has not been addressed. So based on our understanding of the project, which might or might not be the case for what was required, we kept it to a relatively conceptual level. And obviously, coming to the next stage was the traffic flow, the materials of the roads that will be used there in order to slow down the traffic, and how the pedestrian crossing will happen. So that the question of material, infrastructure, and kind of structures that will come into place, we thought it was the next step into the process of design. So here we've kept it relatively conceptual.
I mean, even at a concept level, I think the traffic has to be resolved even before going to material. And that was the point I was trying to make, but thank you.
Yeah, and even the trail is right now cutting the railway line. So, I mean, you have to.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
yes, for that,
when you have to channelize below the railway lines, and it will hamper the traffic of the railway when you are doing that. So, yeah. Okay.
Yes, so for that, we actually were in our heads, we were thinking that maybe we can introduce overbridges or underpasses, because there is a Kasturi Nagar underpass where the traffic, goes under the railway station, and we were, the railway line, and we were considering that already what's on the site, using the existing infrastructure as a reference, as well as, infrastructure that can be added on to make the connection more prominent and accessible, was one way we wanted to go about the design process.
Thank you. We have time for one last quick comment or question.
Just to understand, did you say you wanted to, or have you done that? Underpass or overbridge?
So we have thought of how can the connection be made from the so as if you can see from the master plan, this trail is continuing, this orange one you can see.
Yeah.
And that is going, and that is connecting to the underpass located somewhere here, which is so we are trying to give a direct pedestrian connection. We haven't really thought of the vehicular connection over here, but we're promoting more of pedestrian and cycle friendly movement, so that which is then connected to the already existing walkway in the southern side of this Paninga Hali Lake, and the red dark maroon, which is then connected to the metro.
Yeah, so this is essentially about the larger connection that we want to establish between the site and the upcoming metro station, because that was like a point that had come up in the visioning exercise also, that they wanted a better connection to the old Madras Road. And we saw that opportunity because there was already an underpass that was connecting to that part of the site. It was just a matter of introducing a more pedestrian friendly infrastructure. And there was already a walkway around the southern part of the Benengamli Lake. So we thought maybe we can just work with that and then connect to the new metro station and on the old Madras Road.
Yeah, that's a good one. Because there is already existing railway bridge over there, which you can probably, with railway's permission, you can use to make a connection, which is very crucial, by the way. When you have thought about it itself is a good thing. Yeah,
that is what my question was. Have you thought about it, or have you like demonstrated it? Because I think none of the four sort of it's just not to you, but all the four presentations, there was no seamless sort of, even if it's design intent, at a design intent, there was no seamless connect to larger systems, from park to resident to lake to metro station. It's all like isolated, and then that is so have you, that's a question, have you thought or have you demonstrated? It's just a thought.
Yeah, so we tried to demonstrate it. Clearly, we did not do a great job. We'll work on it for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah.